Oh, how are we? Good afternoon, and it is now the 13th of June 2019. Welcome to From the Crow's Nest. Today we're talking about water spirits and the child of the autumn rains. This is going to be a little bit of more of a storytelling one, so it's kind of in kind of for Folklore Thursday, as I normally do on these Thursdays. There's a long history of water spirits and different types of water creatures on the island. There is the sea crone, but we'll deal with her in another episode. As I said, today I want to talk about the water spirits, the three sisters, really. And also the child of the autumn rains. So let's talk about the three sisters first of all. And I've mentioned them before, but I've never actually really gone into the detail of the story. So I thought now is as good a time as any, really. So the three stories tell the story of three sisters. The first sister, the eldest, represents the Medina, which is the river that runs through the middle of the island, and Medina is derived from the word middle. And then we have the twins, who represent the two Yars, two rivers Yar. There is the eastern and the western. Yar is thought to be an ancient word meaning river. The Eastern Yar is considered the blood of the island. The head of the or the spring that feeds the Eastern Yar is one of a sacred site. There's a lot going on around that area, and something that we'll talk about at a later date, even including cannibals. The Western Yar, separated off the island, the freshwater island. So the story goes that an evil wizard came to the island, hoping to steal the three treasures, the three great treasures of the island. And the first treasure is said to be the sight between life and death. And that treasure is held in the Western Yar, protected over by the first twin. And the wizard came, and they battled furiously. And as they battled, a great darkness came over the island, because the wizard just brought evil with him. And they fought, and then finally the first sister was able to push him off and defeat him off in a great battle that blew out the whole of Yarmouth and created Yarmouth Island. So the wizard then went to try and steal the second of the treasures, and that is supposedly the final remnants of the Wheel of Life or the Wheel of Fortune, and that's supposed to be held at the spring that feeds the Medina at St. Catherine's Down. And I guess there's a link between St. Catherine of the Wheel, and the Wheel of Fortune. Another great fight ensued, to the point where they got to the Medina, to where Newport is now, and the great port of and the harbour there. And after a great fight, a massive explosion, and the wizard was wounded and flung over to the other side of the island, where finally he went for the last. The last is the well of the wisdom of ages, the wisdom of all that has been and all that is to come. Said to be held in Braiding Haven. And so the fight commenced. The wizard, injured but still very powerful, blew out the whole of Braiding Haven. And the last sister holding him back while her two others came to the rescue, and they forced him down, down, down. And as they did, the third sister bashed her blackthorn staff into the well, and the well overflowed and filled the whole of Braiding Haven. With the wizard subdued, the three sisters forced him into where St. Helens is now. And under the rock face is where he was imprisoned, and is still in prison today. So that's the story of the three water spirits. And then we have the story of the daughter, or the girl of the autumn rain. Now I'm probably going to butcher her name, but Ylfehærn Hærfestwē. And that was her name. She was. This story is set before Christianity, when the old gods still happily roamed this world, when the veil between this and the other world was nothing more than a place to be stepped over, where people were happy to intermingle with the preternatural, the natural and the preternatural, were happy to intermingle, when gods still made their influence known, when the weird still ruled, weird and the fate still ruled. An elfish king laid with a mortal woman, and she gave birth to a young girl. And this girl, when born, had a glow, and she was born with multicolored hair, said to be all shades of the rainbow. And after 6 months of being with her mother, the father returned from the other place and took the daughter away with him. And he took his daughter to the other place, where she would be schooled in all that is magic, and where she would live out her life in pure immortality, never wanting for anything. And because she had the combination of a mortal and the immortal, the elvish and the human, she was an outstanding beauty, and strong and brave, known for her fighting skills, known for her independence, her hair flowing free. And she had one thing: she longed for the real world. But her father said, no, you cannot go. You cannot go to the mortal world. If you do, your immortality will be lost, and you'll never be able to come back. So she spent her days never wanting for anything, hunting, bravely fighting, defending, an independent woman, beauty unknown, many suitors, but none would please her. And always longing for the mortal world. She would look through the veil as it whisked past, and she would see the world pass by, ever changing, ever growing, until finally she made the decision that she was going to leave her place, leave the other place, and come to this world. And one night, she stole away and she broke through the veil. And as she did, and her body and feet slowly came down, she came down the place of Compton. Her feet delicately landing on the sand as the sea washed in and gently washed her skin. But as she walked, she realized that her mortality was starting to take over. And every inch, every foot that she walked, another year age, till finally she'd walked the length of the entire beach. And as she did, the sands changed colour. As she aged, her hair grew longer and scraped along the sands, and the sands changed colour behind her. And finally she ended up at the cliffs, where she lay down, her final gasps of breath, her head cushioned by the sand. And as she fell into the eternal slumber, and the wind gently blew her hair up against the rock face, the sands changed, and the colour from her hair was transferred to the cliff face. And as her body decayed and sunk into the earth, all that was left were the coloured sands of Compton Bay. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. A little bit of storytelling as opposed to any factual stuff. I hope you enjoyed the stories. If you did, please leave me some feedback. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Everyone that does that helps. Any bit of feedback helps. Tomorrow I'm going to be reading out people's interesting stories. So if you have any, please give them to me. I think that's just about it for today. And have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye for now.